Hey folks, Greg here. I'm going to be talking about Marvel's MODOK that you can find on Hulu. It only consisted of 10 episodes, really short, like 22-minute kind of episodes. It's all stop motion by the same team who does Robot Chicken. This series was meant to start off as a new line of really offbeat characters that exist in the higher MCU, or not MCU, but the Marvel comics, I should say, but don't really have a lot of fame. And there's a reason behind that. Like, one of the bigger things about certain villains, or like, take for example, if you've seen the trailer for the upcoming James Gunn's Suicide Squad, one of the villains that's in there is called Polka Dot Man. He was a villain that fought Batman, but he's super, super silly. In the Young Justice latest season that they came out with, there's a very small reference to a villain that Batman also fought called the Condiment King. These characters exist in both DC and Marvel all over the place. One of said characters is MODOK. Stands for it changes, but normally it's mental organism designed only for killing. Sometimes it's mechanical, sometimes it's machine. Depends on the fucking writer. But Patton Oswalt stars as the titular character, and MODOK is the type of character that wants to take over the world. He's always been that way. He always butts heads with Iron Man primarily, but Avengers a lot. And there are a lot of weird characters within Marvel. A lot of weird characters. And instead of going to the extent of trying to make these weird characters work in the higher MCU, they've allowed Hulu to basically make this comedy of sorts, to kind of have these characters to show them off and allow them to exist. One of my favorite things about this show is the strong, deep dives into some stupid shit in Marvel. There's a character that appears, I think, 3 times total, named Fing Fang Foom, who is an alien that's taken the form of a Chinese dragon. I wish I was joking. That's a real thing in the comics. The first time I ever saw Fing Fang Foom was actually in Ultimate Marvel 2. Or was it Ultimate? It was a video game. There were 2 video games where it was like top down. You could play with the 4 players and tons of characters in it, but the second one had, like, it was on the helicarrier and Fing Fang Foom attacks. There's a bar that MODOK goes to in this called the Bar with No Name, and it has a bunch of, like, relatively unknown characters that, unless you're a hardcore fan, you're not going to know who they are. And I'll admit, like, I love Marvel. I really, really do. I mean, I love Marvel. I mean, if you look at the ceiling of my room, it's interspliced with Marvel and Halo. You know, my camera's all wonky. But the point I'm getting at is that even though I am a fan of Marvel, I don't know all these characters. I had to Google quite a bit of them. Because I just didn't know. I just genuinely didn't know who they were. But that's okay. That's what's great about this community of super fans, is that you can do that sort of thing. And MODOK really does bring that out. It was my favorite thing about this show, was just the Easter eggs and the references and the deep dives into certain characters. But this show, at its core, is a sitcom. It's a camera solo cricket. It's a story about a father trying to make amends with his family, trying to fix the relationship that they had. And it is a silly comedy. It does do silly things, but it's a sitcom. Straight up, it's a sitcom. It just happens to have Marvel characters in it. And some of the stuff gets really into, like, some science fiction shit, but it's got a lot of great guest stars. I don't want to ruin some of the characters in case you want to be surprised by that, if you are a hardcore Marvel fan. But I will say that, like, Bill Hader, Alan Tudyk, Nathan Fillion, John Hamm, they're all in the show at some point. And the main cast consists of You can tell I'm looking at a cast list right now because if you listen to the podcast, I can't remember names. Like I said, Patton Oswalt is MODOK. He does a fantastic job as MODOK. He sounds like MODOK. Like, it just, everything is correct. Amy Garcia plays his wife, Jody. Ben Schwartz, who recently did the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog for the recent movie, plays his son, Lou. John Daly is Super Adaptoid. Super Adaptoid in the comics was a robot that could be used for a lot of devices, but instead for the show, they use him for shit like a ladder or a lamp, shit like that. So that becomes kind of funny. And then Melissa Fumero, who is on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, plays his daughter, Melissa, who actually looks just like MODOK. So there's a lot of like comedy that comes from that too. But like I said, it is a sitcom. It is funny, kind of. The ball doesn't get rolling until like episode 3 or 4 when comedy starts to come in, because boy oh boy, the first 2 episodes are cringy. I have to admit, like, there was a lot of not funny in the first few episodes, and that's unfortunate because it does get better. It genuinely does get better, but it takes a minute. So, I think overall, if you're a big Marvel fan or you love deep dives into Marvel's like history and lore, check out MODOK. It's not that much of your time. Like I said, 10 episodes, 22 minutes apiece. For me, like I said, it was the story there was actually fun. The deep dives into Marvel was fun. The animation's great. The comedy is okay. Genuinely, it's okay. Because some of the jokes are classic sitcom jokes, and those suck. Those are terrible. So, but other than that, I would honestly give it. I'd give it a B-. Yeah, I mean it's not anything to write home about, but it's definitely not terrible. So, guys, thank you so much for listening. I have other reviews uploaded, so make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow All Queued Up on the links down below. And we have a new episode up every Friday, so go check that out. We recently reviewed Army of the Dead. That dates this video currently, so that's great. Not like there's a date like right here or here, I don't know. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.